Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a kind of AI that doesn't just analyze data, it actually creates it. We're going to dive into a world that goes way beyond just prediction and classification. We're talking about artificial imagination. I want you to imagine for a second an AI that can just dream up the face of a person who has never ever existed. And I mean completely from scratch, so photorealistic you'd swear it was a real photograph. Well, this isn't sci-fi anymore, it's really happening. Or get this, an AI that can take a picture of a busy city street in broad daylight and just turn it into night. It changes the lighting, the shadows, the whole mood of the scene. It's incredible. And how about this? You can give it a super simple line drawing, just a basic sketch, and it will transform that into a photorealistic image. It fills in all the color, the texture, the depth, like it's a real photo. So the big question is, how is any of this even possible? Well, all this creative power comes from a really revolutionary AI architecture. But to truly get what makes it so special, we kind of need to rewind a little bit and look at how most machine learning has traditionally worked. Okay, let's get right into it. The huge difference we're talking about here is between AI that analyzes stuff and AI that creates stuff. And that technology behind those wild images we just saw, that's what we're talking about today. It's called a Generative Adversarial Network, or you'll usually hear it called a GAN. You know, at its very heart, a GAN is this totally ingenious system that's built on competition. Just think of it like a game, an adversarial game between two AI models. You've got one, the generator, who's the creator, and the other, the discriminator, who's the critic. And they are locked in this constant battle to try and outsmart each other. To really get a handle on this game, let's use an analogy that I think makes it super clear. Imagine you have a brilliant, but pretty new, art forger, and then you have a world-class art critic. This is the exact dynamic that makes a GAN tick. So here's where the magic happens. It's all about this constant feedback loop. Our forger, the generator, tries to paint a masterpiece, and the critic, our discriminator, looks at it and says, nope, that's a fake, and here's why. The forger takes that feedback, tries again, and gets a little better. But at the same time, the critic is also getting better at spotting even the tiniest little flaws. They basically force each other to get smarter and smarter. And this table right here just illustrates that fundamental difference perfectly. Think about it. Traditional machine learning is analytical. You feed it thousands of labeled pictures of cats so it can learn to spot a cat in a new picture. Its whole goal is to predict or classify. GANs, on the other hand, look at thousands of pictures of cats to learn the very essence of what makes a cat, so they can create a brand new cat image from nothing. They're not predicting, they are generating. But you know, this whole competitive process, it's not always a smooth ride. It's an incredibly delicate balancing act, almost like a high wire act, that can go wrong really, really easily. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is a big deal. Researchers have pointed out several major challenges that make training these unstable geniuses a famously difficult task. One of the most common and honestly most frustrating problems is something they call mode collapse. This is basically where the creative genius becomes, well, a one-trick pony. So what happens here is instead of learning to generate a whole bunch of different images, landscapes, portraits, animals, the generator finds a shortcut. It discovers one thing it can do really, really well that always fools the critic, and it just does that one thing over and over and over. It finds a weakness and exploits it, and it never learns the full diverse pattern in the data. It really shows you how hard it is to teach an AI true creativity, not just clever imitation. So to fix these kinds of problems, researchers came up with smarter rules for the game. One of the biggest breakthroughs was changing how the critic gives feedback. Instead of just giving a simple thumbs up or thumbs down, real or fake, the critic now gives a score that says how fake something is. This provides a much more useful, much more continuous stream of feedback for the generator to learn from, and it leads to training that's way more stable and reliable. Now, while creating these mind-blowing images is what GANs are famous for, their unique ability to model these really complex, real-world patterns, well, it has applications that go way, way beyond just art and photos. For example, researchers are now using a special type of GAN to model something incredibly complex and nuanced. I'm talking about human driving behavior. So in this setup, the generator's job is to predict how a driver will accelerate based on the traffic around them, and the discriminator's job
to tell if that prediction looks like something a real human would do or if it looks all robotic and unnatural. And the results have been amazing. These GAN models are creating traffic simulations that are way more realistic than the older methods could ever achieve.
So where is all this actually heading? Well, this technology is so much more than just a cool research project. It's powering this absolutely massive wave of investment and innovation that is literally reshaping entire industries. Let me just throw a number at you. According to Gartner, worldwide spending on generative AI, which is the bigger category that GANs are part of, is expected to hit a staggering $644 billion by 2025. That number alone tells you just how big of a deal, how transformative this technology already is. And this technology is evolving at an absolutely breakneck pace. We're moving beyond models that just do one thing. The future is in multimodal AI, stuff that can understand and create across text, images, and sound all at the same time. We're also seeing the beginning of autonomous agents, AI that can take a complex goal, break it down into steps, and just go execute it. That could completely revolutionize how businesses operate. Which kind of brings us to a final thought. We've seen that GANs and these other generative models, they represent this fundamental shift from an AI that just analyzes to an AI that creates. And as this tech evolves, it isn't just changing what's possible in software or in business. It's challenging us, all of us, to think differently about creativity, about intelligence, and about the very nature of our relationship with technology.